Dear students, today I will discuss with you on religious explanation of gender. The norms and expectations which define male and female natures and behavior are essential component of and based on social and economic system. These systems in turn are informed and shaped by these norms and expectations. But social and economic systems are also influenced by some other categories, as for example, caste, religion, and language. These in turn influence and shape norms of masculinity and femininity. There are some questions arises. Are the norms and expectations regarding masculine and feminine roles and actions deceive in shaping caste, class, religion, sexual preferences, or do any or all of these determine norms of masculinity and femininity? This is a very difficult question, but it involves unpacking the ideas which govern them and scrutinizing the system for the ideals they create. Many thinkers, social activists, political leaders have gone through this question, and in fact, it is the central thought of the women's rights activists and feminists all over the world. One thing, however, appears settled. It is now recognized that by posing this important question about masculinity and femininity, there is significant and necessary category of analysis has been formulated. That is what we called gender. So, gender is a grammatical commodity. It exists almost in all languages and divides up objects into masculine, feminine, neuter. However, the term gender has some other meaning. It has been associated with biological sex. So, sex is considered as fact, as I have already discussed with you, where I just have said it is as a sex of a person born with either male or female genitalia. That is very fixed, and that is very normal. So gender is the social construction. We have discussed about the construction of gender, social construction of gender in our classes. So what gender? Gender gives meaning to the fact sex. So now we have discussed in our classes how gender is constructed, how the process of socialization through schooling and family plays a very important role in construction of gender, in identification of a masculinity or femininity, a person of a male and female, as for example as a third gender. But some other factors are also responsible in the process of gender identification, or one sense we can see the differentiation, the sexual differentiation, identification of sexual differentiation. So always there is when I had discussed with you, the students, you are very much queries, you have the queries, and you often have such kind of remarks that, ma'am, we are physically, women are not way. Women are physically weak. That is why they may be inferior. So it is a God has made us different. So everyone had this question. The God has made us different. So nature made us different. So this difference is very natural. It is very common to all of us. This type of thinking are very common to all of us. So over the centuries, the sexual difference has been interpreted variously. Men and women possess different genitalia. It is the general assumption. So it was assumed that they are different in every aspects of life, in their behavior, in their attitudes, in their emotions, in their nature, in their character. So in every sphere they are different. So though the special beings, men and women share a great deal, this fact has not been viewed as pertinent. Interpretation of sexual difference are complex and varied. So I am referring my lecture from a book called The Gender by V. Gita, where she had classified the sexual differences into 3 sets. Each of these 3 sets of ideas possess a different relationship between sex of human body and human attributes, and the body and capabilities, and finally between the body and human destiny. So the first set of ideas, that is sex of human body and human attributes, contain arguments which fundamentally derive from religious and metaphysical assumptions regarding male and female bodies and in relation with virtues. And this idea is so strong and powerful that it attracted lots of even non-religious, scientific and political views of humanity. The second set of ideas comprises definitions which categorically accepts that the 2 sexes possess innate qualities, and these definitions do not explain any why. They don't rely on any explanation, but as how and why these qualities exist and are concerned with the implication of masculine and feminine attributes of the society as a whole. So the third set, where body and human destiny is the sociological explanations for the persisting knowledge of masculinity and femininity. So now I am coming to the point, the religious explanation. So where I have said the first group of ideas comprise the human body and the virtues, the relationship between human bodies and the virtues. So what it interprets that, and it claims that men and women have innate attributes that cannot be changed, and these are inherent in their bodies of men and women, and it is in the expression of sexual differences between them. The genital and the physical difference between men and women imply that they possess different qualities. In almost every religious text and customs, it is observed that they declare that women's bodies to be inherently inferior and sinful, and it is fit to be controlled by man. And if in an alternate way, you can say the man's bodies and soul are measure of humanity. So they are granted for power, judge and interpret in a very proper way and represent the world on their own terms, where women are defined and interpreted and judged as represented by men. So, on what basis that women are declared as inferior? What are the basis? So, if we go through the analysis of different texts of different religion, as for example Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, Christianity, especially if we refer to Hindu scriptural texts, it claims that every dawn of creation, women emerged as sinful creatures, fire, snakes, poisoned, all rolled into one. Where we go to the Dharma Shastra, where Manusmriti, Manu, what he wrote there. So, women, at the moment of creation, women are allotted some of the habits, and these habits are as of lying, sitting around with an indiscriminate love for ornaments. They have the qualities with the meanness, treachery and bad conduct, where he also had reports that women are always have to be dependent throughout their lifetime. When they at a young life, when they are young, they have to be dependent towards their father, then to the husband, and at the old days they have to be dependent with their son. So again, we know that in India, somebody will argue that yes, we in our Indian religion, if it's in Hinduism, women are worshipped as goddess. I have a lots of arguments on this topic. But yes, we worship. By whom we worship? So I just want to say that for all their devaluing of women, most of this religion, not only Hinduism, in Christianism also, in the Christian religion also, women are worshipped as a goddess, and where in some of the texts, some of the feminists have some kind of argue with it, as in this religion, women appear as a reverential and awe of women's ability to sustain life in their wombs. Either they possess tradition of mother goddess worship, or they celebrate the virginal women whose purity lies in awesome power she is able to exert over her body. Hindu mother goddesses are not only the legend but also powerful and dreadful. Amongst Hindus, women is a model women and self-sacrificing, heroic, and essentially noble. When you go to the picture of Mother Goddess Durga, if you will see the goddess, where you can see the complete is a picture of a powerful, full of motherhood, essential qualities of motherhood, and necessarily they are the virgin mothers. And there are also traditions of virgin worships. This I have already mentioned. That is, this have to be the virgin women. We know how Ganesha, if you go to the mythology, when the birth of the Ganesha is not a very normal process. You can see Kali, goddess Kali, is the supreme, I just want to say supreme example of sexuality. So the worship of virginity, worship of sexuality, worship of motherhood are the factors, I just want to say, should be the qualities whom we worship. They have to be chaste. In Christianity also, there are the faith that we know the power of Mother Mary. This is the eternal virgin as well as the mother of God. She is also a virgin mother. We know the Kunti was considered as sati, and she is the again considered as a virgin mother. There is a Greek, if you see the Greek worship Ceres, the goddess of fertility, as well as virginal and wise Athena. So for its horror of female body, so these are the qualities actually a woman required to worship in all the religion, not all, especially I can mention of Christianity and Hinduism. So normal women, as like you and me, are never worshipped. So if I will go to Buddhism, so again if you see the Jataka stories, where it states that women as a sex are unable to distinguish truth from falsehood and lies from truth. They are unstable to stand cruel and snake. Another Jataka text holds that women are wrathful, slanderous ingrates, source of sex strife and dissension, and their passions are insatiable, for they act according to their inborn nature. Thus, every nature of women demands that they can be controlled and disciplined by men. Again, in Christianity, there is an say that God created man first, then women from man's ribs. Where one of the talk of Kamala Bhasin, I have what she said that yes, of course, we also have never seen somebody taken birth from the ribs of anyone else. So therefore, man is exemplary human, whereas women is secondary and dependent in that way. So English poet John Milton, where he wrote that God created man in his image, so he is for God only. While woman was created as afterthought from Adam's rib, not being in God's image, man was to realize God in him, that is man. So if we go to the ancient Greeks, though ancient Greeks worshipped both gods and goddesses, they also convinced that men are the measures of perfection, while women were fundamentally imperfect. Where Aristotle has always had and say that women are naturally lacking of intelligence and rationality, and that is why women are by birth irrational, and that is why they are not perfect to participate in any public affairs. So their man could only represent the interest of women. So that is why we know that for a long period of time, women are not allowed to give vote. They did not have any kind of rights for political participation. So now if we will come to Islam, so Islam too believes that women are inferior than man, and men are created to rule over women and to manage the lives and affairs of women. So men are in search of women, so they have also some kind of image on women, that especially the women's purity, that going to toilet on a journey, being sick and touching a woman are all considered equally impure act. So those who have done any of these things are enjoined not to pray until they have washed themselves and clean. So again, I just want to say that you can see all the religious communities, there you will not get any man who are they achieve, any women they achieve authority to be a priest. So men always have the authority in the world as they can declare themselves as fit for priest. So women have never, you know that there are nuns. If you need in Buddhism there are bhikkhuni. If you can see in nowadays increase a lot, the unmarried women devoted their life to Lord Krishna. They can only consider that when they are not married, they can attain. When they are chaste, then they can attain, and they can attain the status of getting the priesthood, not very secondary priesthood. In one sense, I was just want to say they can attain the secondary priesthood, and they can be connected with God. So again, I just want to say that where some of the texts, especially the feminist texts, they have said that worshipping women as mother and devaluing them in every other sense thus became a way of displacing as well as managing fears about female power and sexuality. So where we can see that the religious texts, texts or customs, some traditions have made women's body impure, unclean. So most of the time we have observed that women are not being not allowed to enter in some of the temples, in garbhagrihas, where we see in Assam, women are not allowed to enter in the satras. In Namghar, you can see women are always given, or women chatras also, wherever you see, women are always allowed to some kind of cutting, means they are, when they're cleaning the prasads and something, they're arranging the prasads or something like that, but they are never offered to sit in the front line of the Namghars if there are men. So I just want to say that these kind of concepts of impurity, inferiorness, these ideas are strengthened the inferior attitudes of women towards the women in the society, and men always have achieved the extreme power through the religion. So we have seen that one of the students, you have argued that some kind of malpractices as crimes also are there. It has been increased, or it is very common in the society, by rape, by gurus. I itself have in my study, when I was doing my PhD, when I was doing my research, I have found such cases where some women, women, girls, minor girls are raped by the religious priests, and people around them are completely hopeless and helpless. They cannot do anything because the power of religion is so strong that, and it is imbibed in our culture and tradition, and it is inherently occupied their mind and psyche in that way that we are dominated, we are suppressed in that manner. We cannot raise voice against it, and that is why we can see in Bhaprata Satra, still date, after lots of effort by many social activists, feminist activists, they are not being able to attain the status that they can enter to the temple, to the Satra. They are not being allowed to the satras. There are lots of revolutions. Chandraprabha Saikyani itself she has tried a lot to enter to the temple, but unfortunately it has not been attained. It is not being attained, and this type of ideologies have been grassroots. It is rooted in the society in that way that some of the philosophic and scientific ideas are also often expressed in and through a language of sexual differences. So in our later classes, I will discuss with you how science itself are very the science is also being have tried how it has been, this religious explanations has been influenced with the scientific explanations, where women are always considered as inferior. So dear student, today I just want to stop here, but I will assign you some of the kind of information, some kind of works to you, that please prepare yourself with some of the examples nearby you, what community it belongs to. If you belong to Islam, if you belongs to Hinduism, if you belong to Christian, try to look over that in what point. And again, I just want to say that sometimes also some religious priests, as for example, I just want to express the name of Shankardeva, where the prophet Shankardeva, when in Assam, had tried a lot to bring equality among male and female through his writings, through his Vauna, through Namghar. If you can see that some of the role of Sita, he has expressed it in a very different way, where he have given voice to Sita in some of her writings. Where in Namghar, he has established Namghar, where irrespective of gender, caste, class, all can come and pray equally, in the Namghar. So you can see in the month of Vada, we are considered as the month of Vada, which is very auspicious for Assamese community, and all the women accordingly they came to and sit around and they worship God. But unfortunately, what happened? Nebu Sankaradeva has mentioned that only it is a duty of women to come and pray to God altogether. But it is both men and women should come and pray to the god. But unfortunately, I have seen in the most of the namghars in Mount of Vada, only women are doing this kind of job. They are praying God. They are sitting equally, irrespective of. I have seen in front of my. I have a namghar in front of my house. I have seen the women. Some Bihari community from that of the, and irrespective of any caste community of in Assamese people, they came and all together and sit and they pray God. But unfortunately, men are never involved in Mansapada in the namghars. Why? It is not the fact of that men are not being they cannot sit with women. It is the idea that it is the women's work that Bhadama they will come and they will come on special occasions. That I have my this kind of observation, but men never sits with the women. So these are the things, and these are imbibed in the society, and you can see that if you can say it's a scientific and philosophical idea also sometimes reflects this kind of ideology. So thank you, students. So I just want to repeat the assignment that please prepare some of the examples where you can observe. As for example, I have observed this kind of examples where women are sitting in the Vada, Manta Vada, where men are completely absent. And in that way, you also observe, please share the observations in some of my next classes. Thank you very much.